tends to work out that way. It's all good. Check one, check one. Magic speakers, everything says I'm in good shape here. Can you hear me meow? Oh, I forgot my drink. Hang on. Most important thing everybody should have in their home office, a little dorm fridge so you can keep your drinks around. And don't spill all over everything. Wow, we have a tiny group. Hello everybody, it's Mike Meyers and welcome to the Monday edition of the Mike Meyers live stream. So the main reason we have this live stream, we call it an AMA, Ask Mike Anything, is because this is an opportunity for those of us who are studying for our CompTIA certifications. This is kind of our open forum here for me to talk about anything you need. William Jeske and Savage Cabbage. Look at this, Old Home Week again. So that's what we're here for. So the goal here is you ask me questions and I answer them for you. It always, nobody ever gets here on time, which is no big deal. But lazy or gaming with Brie? Is Brie a lady's name or is it a type of cheese? I guess it's both technically, right? So anyway, guys, this is where you get to ask my questions. You can ask me questions about CompTIA certification. We concentrate on A+, Net Plus, and Security Plus, but we can certainly go outside of that. We can also be talking about other certifications. And we can also talk about technology issues. Gaming with cheese. Why not gaming with cheese, Savage Cabbage? Gaming with cheese or being savage with... Oh, okay, not even going to touch that. Gotta be good. It's hard to be an old geezer anymore, man. You gotta be careful what we say. Dave is reminding me that Brie cheese has an eye. It does. Vegas Brent, there should be a contest right away to reward those who show up on time. Well, I mean, there's no Vegas Brent. There's no time period. It's just it's a little slow for me when there's only like 20 people on. This has never been a big AMA, and it's not supposed to be. But you know, when it's me and Tolowit and Andrew Hutz and Dave and I, it gets a little lonely. We miss you. We need you here. So anyway, basically that's what we're here for. You ask me questions and I answer them. You ask questions by just typing them into the chat window. By the way, while we're looking at the chat window, you know where it says top chat, hit that pull down and turn it to live chat so we don't have the algorithm in the way. Then also make sure that your timestamps are on. We'll be giving away some practice questions today, so it helps with the timestamps. I don't know if it really helps with the timestamps, but I feel that it does. Therefore, I think. How's that for me mauling Descartes right in front of you? Descartes, philosopher. Look him up. Google it. Johnny 5, good to see you again, man. Edgar Kakubo. Hello, Edgar Kakubo. You are new. Welcome aboard, mon frere. Jacques Alexander has some questions. Okay. Jacques Alexander. Hey, Mike, I recently got my A+. I've been looking at entry-level positions. I've been finding they seem to want more than the education from my cert provides. Is this an HR thing, or do I need to expand my skill set? It's an HR thing, primarily, Jack. Especially when you see like entry-level positions, and it says entry-level needs 3 years of experience. They know we're going to get 1,000 people, so they do stuff to keep the cowards away. So don't be a coward. Dive in. I almost wish everybody, when they typed in a message, go, I live in this city, I have this age. It's always easier for me to answer these things. I'm fairly good at job placement in the United States. I'm getting better at EU, and I'm completely lost in like Africa right now. And I know there's jobs there. I just don't know where to find them. So Modi, good to see you, man. Thanks, Jock. Jack Alexander, Richland, Virginia. Richmond, Washington. Ay vey. Where the heck is Richland, Washington? I gotta look that one up. Richland, Washington. Richland is a city in Benton County, Washington. It is located in southeastern Washington states at the Yakima. Now I know where you're at. Okay, I know where you're at. Yeah, Jack, our jobs, if you could move out of that area, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that area. Columbia River is beautiful. I got no problem with that. Good wine y'all grow around there. You've got the Hanford nuclear site. But, take a look at some of the bigger cities. Yeah, in particular, cities like, I got to tell you, Dallas, Houston, to a lesser extent, Austin, to a lesser extent, San Antonio. Texas is a good place to be right now. And, somebody like you, 30 years old, assuming that you possess bilateral symmetry, and that you could easily find a job here in the States, because here in Texas, we are part of the United States and the 49 lesser states. But in all seriousness, we could do that. But the other thing you got to keep remember, Jack, is that if you don't do 200 resumes, something's wrong. 200. And, honestly, if you use LinkedIn and Indeed, people are saying Gorilla's coming back. I haven't seen that. But that's all you need to do, and you'll find the jobs that you want. Most of the time people filter themselves out of jobs because they say they ain't pretty enough for that job or whatever it might be. Don't be afraid. But all I'm trying to say is don't be afraid to move. You're only 30 years old, Jack. I mean, you can do it. Suzuki Sakoma, do I really need to rote memorize all these information to pass the exam to be considered a professional tech? Suzuki, oh boy, here we go. Andre, you're on. Start the background music. Suzuki, there's a reason to get into IT. And the reason you get into IT is because you love it. You have a passion for it. All you want to do is learn more and more about it. Long before certifications existed, I craved IT and constantly looked for more learning and more knowledge because it was fun. And I've never felt that I had to rote memorize anything. And nothing, port numbers, I need those port numbers. Every time I have a network issue, I'm going through the port numbers. Maybe DRAM stick pin counts can be a little persnickety sometimes, but no, in general, it's because I have a passion and a love for this. The thought of rote memorization wouldn't even make sense to me. This is great. I like this stuff. So I'm not putting that on you. Okay, maybe I'm putting it on you a little bit. Make sure you know why you're getting into IT. Make sure it's because you have a passion for it. I got to be honest with you right now, man. If you wanted to make more money faster right now, I would get into a trade. Probably electrician or plumbing. I know it doesn't sound glamorous, but in terms of if you're even halfway intelligent, the amount of money you can make in these trades is absolutely unreal. Incredible. Hang on. Lots of good questions coming in here. Suzuki, I'm not going to pick on you anymore. You need to memorize certain things. In general, in my books, if you see a table, memorize it. Tolowit, I guess HDDs are not as dead as I thought. HAMR is keeping... Yeah. Some of the problem is it's going to be a hard time to get SSDs to match the capacity of rotational media drives or magnetic drives or whatever you want to call it. 30 terabyte. I have not seen that particular one. I knew they were out there, but a 30 terabyte from Seagate. Now the problem is what are you going to do with 30 terabytes? You're just going to get in trouble. You know, backup storage. I was very sad to see optical medias go away. I wish they had pushed Blu-ray to its ultimate maximum, where we could have been in the, you know, multiple terabytes of storage. I think there was room for that. But, you know, optical media is all but dead. Tape media is still very much alive, man. It always surprises me how much tape is still out there. But with rotational media, a 30 terabyte drive, I mean, that's going to be a file server. That's going to be something that's, you know, really needs that. Like at Total Seminars, we could use those. I think the biggest drives we use at Total Seminars are about 5 or 6 terabyte. And those are all in RAID arrays. And that's usually just to store video production stuff more than anything else. So, yeah, but it is very cool, isn't it? The first hard drive I ever bought for myself was a 40 meg hard drive, and I paid $600 for it. Meg, not gig, not terabyte, 40 meg. And I couldn't even partition it into 40. I had to partition it into a 32C partition and an 8D partition. Boy, you thought I was on the cutting edge, a D partition. Woohoo! HAMR. Dave looked that up for me. Heat Assisted Magnetic Recording. Never heard of it. Very cool. Thanks, Dave. 47. What if you don't work in the United States? What do you mean you don't want to work in the United States? How can anybody not want to work in the United States? America. It's fine. Don't work in the United States. I see more potential outside the United States. Oh, 47. You and I have a conversation. Any good sites that offer jobs in those countries? Yeah, Indeed and LinkedIn are extremely international, multiple languages, and are definitely the way to go. Those are international destinations for jobs. Okay, 47. I'm just going to bite because I'm curious. What country do you think has, let me make sure, more potential than the United States? It's not a challenge. I'm just nosy. Don't say Vietnam or I'm going to tease you mercilessly. Android tablet and kiosk mode. I guarantee you, Andre, that there are apps to do exactly that. Here, let me Google that for you. Oh, there's tons of them. I'm going to let you look that up because there's a gazillion answers that will take care of you, Andre. Not a worry in the world. All right, folks. So a couple of things while we're out here. Do keep in mind, just because you're nice enough to show up, we provide nice discounts. Always keep in mind that people need 3 things to pass any certification. Number 1, you need instruction, which is either going to be instructor-led or it's going to be videos. Number 2, you're going to need reference, which is usually going to be a book. And then number 3, you need some way to challenge yourself. Those are practice questions, so you need those 3 things. So here, just because you're nice enough to show up, I'm offering to you our combination bundles of ebook and practice questions, or what we call the total tester here. So let's say you're interested in Network Plus. You can get my Network Plus ebook, and you can get my practice questions, my total tester questions, and you get those for 50% off just because you're nice enough to show up for this AMA. Folks, I'm already the cheapest out there of the good quality materials. Let me rephrase that. I am the cheapest of all the good quality materials, and there you get it 50% off. So all you got to do is head over to my website, www.totalsem, TOTALSEM, totalsem.com, and go into my merchant area, grab the Network Plus ebook. Don't grab the paper book. Grab the Network Plus ebook, grab the Network Plus Total Tester, and just before you check out, type in the phrase FAME, F-A-M-E, into the discount coupon box, whatever it is, and you get half off. These are ridiculously low prices, and if anybody who's ever wanted any of my stuff, that's the place to go. It's only advertised here on the AMA, no place else. And Dave Rush has all that information at 2:08 p.m. That's all right there in the live chat for you. Hard to beat. I gotta scroll ahead. I want to see what 47 said. 47. Oh, 47 is she is a person of no borders. Wheeze Estonia here. You're in Matus is. Sorry. Okay, cool. 47, thank you for that answer. I was just curious. So 47 and everybody else, do keep in mind that a lot of times we get into more evolved questions and such. That's why you really need to take a look at my Discord channel. Well, technically it's not my Discord channel, but if you check, there's an invite in the live chat. It's just a great place to come together. Ooh, did I say come together? I'm a progressive. It's a place for techs to come together. There's no better word. It's a place for techs to join as one at one venue, and they can do a great job asking more involved questions. I'm not the only tech out there, and to be honest with you, there's a lot of people in this list who are better techs than me. I just talk better than they do. But do check out the Discord channel. Join up. Come over and say hello. Throw a couple of questions out there. It's a very good group of people. Dolowit, 30 terabyte might let me finally install all my Steam games. Who installs all their Steam games? What are you talking about? Okay, hold on. We got a good question. Well, we got lots of good questions in here. Gino, good to see you again, Gino. With the merger of Total Seminars and National Cyber Group, does that make you now the Alpha Cyber Geek? Actually, when I was at RSA conference last month, they were calling me the Godfather. I think I kind of like that. The Godfather of IT. Okay. Put that on my tombstone, huh? Gammy started IT 1 year and currently working on A+, Net+, and Security+. Hope not all at once. Yeah, but Gino, I'll take it, man. Whatever we can get out there, I'm going to do it. Daniel, I'm confused about the language older SATA drives speak. Okay, so... okay, I got to be careful here. The language older drives speak. What is the command set? Well, the command set has had a bunch of names over the years. The official name is ATAPI, ATAPI, and there's different versions of ATAPI. Okay, it's what APA, ATAPI 1 through ATAPI 7. This is not going to ever be on the A+. Okay, we're going way too deep here. ACHI. Oh God, I don't even remember exactly what it stands for. ACHI was part of the last version of ATAPI. Give me a second. Advanced Host Controller Interface. That was with ATAPI 7. Hold on. Or is it 8? Give me just a second. I'm pretty sure it was ATAPI 7, but again, it doesn't matter. I could say anything right here. You'd believe me, right? But the important thing is that AHCI provided a lot of features. Native command queuing. It provided native command queuing was the big one. Basically, what that means is we're queuing for pull something from the drive, and you get multiple requests in a row, it could rearrange the requests not in order that they were asked, but in order of how easy it is to pull it off the drive. And it's a pretty important standard, and that is the thing is that if you were running an AHCI, you pretty much couldn't run in some of the earlier standards, and there'd be no reason you'd want to anyway. But that was AHCI. So you got to be careful when you say AHCI, because AHCI, like so many terms in technology, becomes red hot for a while and then it just vaporizes. And AHCI, if you have a SATA drive in your computer, unless you're, I was about to lie. Does an NVMe do AHCI? I don't think it does. No, I think because PCIe has its own command queuing, which is totally different than anything else. Host bus adapter. HBA stands for host bus adapter. HBA is more commonly a term. It does work. It actually works fine with SATA, but it's, you really think about it more as a SCSI term or as a help me out here. These stupid what standard do SANs use? I can't believe I'm going blank. You put a card in your system, but it actually kind of hooks up to the SAN. Super famous standard that I'm just going blank on. I'm so embarrassed. Dave Rush is typing. Save me, Dave Rush. I can't. I'm frozen up. I got to get an answer for it. Dave Rush is using one finger to type. Ether. Anyway, host bus adapter basically just means you have some kind of separate bus, and in order for your system to be a part of what that bus might be, and there's 1,000 different kind of buses, most of them are mass storage, but they don't all have to be. It's whatever card that plugs into your system that allows you to talk to that bus. iSCSI. Thank you, Dave. I was going nuts trying to remember iSCSI. Nathan Botha. I recently started studying A+ because of your book. However, I keep seeing the new course on CompTIA's website. Should I start studying their offered course instead? Nathan, it's a tricky time. Nathan, something happened this year that never happens to me. CompTIA usually gives lots of warning when they're going to announce a new exam. In my opinion, they gave about 45 days. Not even that, 30 days. I think CompTIA is trying to push out other trainers. This is my opinion. I have no basis of fact. I actually get along with a lot of people at CompTIA just fine. But they pushed it out. On top of that, because of Corona and some in-house problems, me getting bought out and other things like that, we were slow to get the book out. If you were just starting, it's almost August, September, October. You could still do it, but you'd have to start today. I mean, today. Otherwise, wait for the 1101 and 1102. That's hard for me to say out loud. If you started today, I'd use the old material. The old material is going to be a lot better than the new material. You got to remember, the people who write training materials, we don't have any special insight as to what's on the exam. I literally have the exact same objective list that you guys have from CompTIA, if you ever bother to look at it. And I just have more experience in writing books on them. So a lot of times when a new book comes out, it can be challenging. It can be challenging sometimes for me to I'm going to go down a pit here I don't want to go into. We'll just leave it like that. Make your own choices. People don't care about which exam you take. They care about when you took an exam. Ali, good to see you, man. Do files that inherited NTFS permissions gain their original before copied to an NFS volume permission back after being copied into? No, they do not. Whoa, 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 whoa. Do they get their original NTF? No. What they're going to do is they're going to get the NTF permissions of wherever they're being copied or moved into. If you're moving from FAT32 and NTFS, FAT32 has no permissions. So when you take that file, say you've got a thumb drive that's got a FAT32 on it, and then you drag that over into an NTFS partition, it's going to get whatever those permissions are of that partition right there. Remember, whenever, and this will also be true on NTFS to NTFS. Don't make this hard, folks. When you move from one volume to another, that file is going to take on whatever permissions it has from that volume. Okay? When you copy within a partition, it's going to keep its permissions. It'll keep its permissions plus whatever it gets inherited. And if you think about that, that makes sense, right? If I come from a totally different tree of permissions, like an E volume or an F volume, and you copy me onto somewhere on your C drive, it has nothing to base that on. So it's just going to take what it can get. Otherwise, if it's within the same volume, it's just going to take on more permissions because it's all coming off the same permission tree. Woo! Spinning Rust. I like that one. Well, that was a good question. I hadn't thought about NTFS permissions for a while. Hey, Mike, I take my A plus 1001 tomorrow. Yeah, be calm. I keep telling people this. The number one reason people fail CompTIA exams, the number one reason is test anxiety. So relax. Be cool, you know? It always cracks me up that people think they could, study for an entire, like studying for one more evening is a good idea. I disagree. Don't do it. Just relax. Don, you got the job. Well done. Go Don. Go Don. Go Don. Go Don. No, seriously, bud. Congratulations. So, Don, you still have to show up here every now and then, man. Just because you're a working man now doesn't mean you can't forget the Penguins. PowerCert animated videos. Well, William, I got to look that up. I got to tell you, one of the most frustrating things is that if I messed up in life in any way, it's that I just didn't do enough of the videos I wanted to do. So I'm looking up PowerCert animated videos. Ports explain. Let me watch.
What is a port? So that is the topic of this video for web pages. Port number 21. You're using port names. You don't see the IP address. Companies on a server and not on clients. However, one of these port a server. In other words,
it's okay. I've always found the best thing I can do to help people understand ports is to say this. You ready? IP addresses get the data to the right computer. Port number gets it to the right application in that computer. But yeah, William, I'll check it out. Mike, what is the difference between SATA and ACHI? Nothing. So both of them are languages. They're protocols, and AHCI. They're all SATA and all of these are under a set of protocols called ATAPI, ATAPI. Nobody talks about this, but that's really where the protocols are. So they have ATAPI 1, ATAPI 2, ATAPI 3, and if you were to read these, it's kind of an interesting progression of what's happened with mass storage over the years. And, SATA is still very much out there in a big way. AHCI is part of the last ATAPI protocol, the last ATAPI standard, and it is a series of features that make drives go much better. There were certain aspects of SATA that would be really hard to do in the world of PATA, and SATA drives can take advantage of that type of thing. But they're both interfaces. They're both hardware interfaces. I don't know what you mean by a hardware interface. You mean like a physical connection? No. SATA in and of itself, which is under the AT-API standard, SATA defines a physical interface that allows for a serial ATA communication. SATA defines how you can use those cables, because instead of the old earlier versions of TAPI with PATA where you had master slave, now we have a single adapter that can act as a host bus adapter to many drives at once, and how all that works, the timings of the circuit. So SATA talks about the physical part, but it also talks about the signaling. Don't say hardware or software. That's inaccurate, because it's both. AHCI is just one part of subset of one particular version of AT-API. Okay? SATA is one big version underneath AT-API that spanned like a TAPI 5, 6, and 7. Okay? And yes, it defined the physical interface, but a lot more than that too. Okay, so remember I just said, Matus asked where we get SATA or NVMe. So what happened with when we started to go with SSD drives, a lot of people started to go, why are we putting SATA in between the storage and the system itself? Couldn't we just talk to it in kind of a raw way? I'm making that a little oversimplified, but the bottom line is that SATA requires a controller, a host bus adapter, if that's the term you want to use, that sits between your system and your storage. And that's where like all your LBA comes from, for example, is because of and again, it's not SATA. Even PATA had this. I don't want to use the word SATA as a acronym for, as a pre-word for something that happened before. Earlier versions of AT-API defined a serial ATA control list, but a lot of people started to go, look, at these speeds, I could just have the system query the drive in a more raw format and therefore get some extra, clicks of the clock out of the way before I can get to my data. And that's what NVMe is. NVMe is really PCIe. PCIe with a couple of special commands for mass storage. So I don't even know why they called it NVMe. They should have called it PCIe in my opinion, but so does that help at all? The problem we get into, Matus, is I start giving this level of discussion, and all I do is I am technically correct, but I have no friends. So, but that is accurate. Hello, Intense Beast. Mike, what would you suggest for a good laptop to play with using Linux Raspberry Pi? Also count in my book for a laptop. So about the only laptops I buy anymore are used Dell laptops, because I can get great prices on them and they get a full warranty and they're 25% off the same Dell. The only trick is that you have to know what you're looking for, because there's nobody there to help you. They have a web page and it's like, here's the ones we have for today, and they're all returns or something and all that, and I like those. But what you're talking about is Raspberry Pi. You want a system, but the problem is you probably don't even want a laptop in that case if it's a Raspberry Pi, right? I'm going to let Dave Rush see if he can answer that one. Dave, what do you think? What Intense Beast is looking for, I can tell you this right now, is they want something to play with while they're rolling. And I'll tell you, we'll let Dave answer this, but I've seen these Raspberry Pis where you can get a terminal, a little tiny terminal that sits on the Raspberry Pi, and then keyboard and mouse is up to you. Or they have like a little touch pads. So that might be something you want to consider. Just a thought. Don, I'm just so proud you're working, man. I'm glad to hear that. Brittany had a question. Looks like you guys got her covered. The promo code will be available through Friday, and we usually have a new promo code every week. So it's a it's a small group, but we get a lot of people who buy through there. Tolowit, slow down, you move too fast. Slow down, you move too fast. Gotta make the turning last now. Why you're Dave Rush and Tolowit doing Simon and Garfunkel. This is the music of your forefathers. Don't worry about it, guys. The final date for 220 1101 and 1102, I believe, is the end of October. Although I've heard that there's going to be a push to move that a little later. We'll see. As far as I can tell, there's only one book. There's only one A+ book that's available right now, at least of the ones that I trust. Oh, there we go. David Rush had you covered, October 20th. So you got to be careful. An interface doesn't have to be physical at all. This is Ali at 231. The only thing that has to be physical would be a connector or a connection. Everything else are just ways to talk to each other. So to me, an interface can be a protocol. It usually is some form of protocol. And a standard, now you gotta be careful with the standard. Keep in mind, if I come up with an interface or a protocol and I want other people to use it, it has to be written out exactly how does this work and what are the timings. Well, who do I talk to, who and how and when. And so we have to have some body, some organization, some group write this book up and say this is how to use this protocol or this interface. And when that happens, it becomes a standard. Here in the United States, we use IEEE. You were talking earlier with Brittany about wireless standards. Well, 802.11, which ones were you talking about? B, let's do B. 802.11b is a protocol, but it is a standardized protocol. Therefore, we just call it a standard. It has been standardized by the IEEE and has very specific things on how it works. In fact, you'd be hard-pressed to find a protocol that's not standardized, because if it ain't standardized, not everybody knows how to use it. Oh, it's already 2:38. Goodness. And Ali, never apologize for what you perceive as bad questions. I never have a problem with answering questions. TD Washington. Daniel, what are the differences between ATI and ATI-PI standards? There are no ATA standards. ATA is not a standard. ATA, or Advanced Technology Attachment, came out with the original IBM 286 processor back in the early 80s. ATA was a form factor. ATA was all kinds of stuff. And this is part of where IBM began to release these things into the public domain. And where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd the question go? Where'd it go? Lost it. So we use the word ATA to define a particular type of what we call PATA cable, or what we define as a SATA cable, but it really has nothing to do with the cables. What it really is, the real standard is ATAPI, a TAPI, which is made by the T3 community. Don't confuse oh, Dave Rush is going to get me. Okay, we'll fight about it later, Dave. So I got to stick on top of this. So a TAPI is the standard. And what does a TAPI stand for? Oh, good Lord. Here. You know what I'm doing. Let me Google that for you. ATI Programmable Interface? AT attachment programmable interface. Yeah, ATA packet interface is a protocol that has been added with parallel ATA, serial ATA. That's not even accurate. A TAPI completely predates serial ATA in all other ways. It was originally brought in as an extension to ATA, and the original idea behind a TAPI was to allow people to start plugging other things like CD-ROMs and zip drives into your parallel ports. And over time, they discovered that in order to make that happen, the TAPI standard has to have all this other stuff built into it, like how fast can it run and things like that. It's interesting you guys have so many questions about that today, which is all good. TD Washington, how old is too old for a system for me to play around with? Depends what you want to do with it. And it also depends what you're running on it. If you got an old system from 2004, but you're able to run, say, Linux on it, in that case, then you'd probably be okay for learning Linux. Does that make sense? I can tell you right now, a desktop PC from 2004 is going to have very poor support for virtual machines. So you'll probably not be able to use it for virtualization. So you can use as old as a machine you want, but keep in mind, the older it gets, the more limited it is in terms of capabilities, and it's probably not going to teach you as much as other stuff might be able to. So it looks like you guys answered Brittany's question about bands. Ali likes Sound of Silence. Let's see you guys. BD Vasquez. Hello, BD. Oh, God, you guys. Sir, I'd like to build a PC for the first time. Okay. Should I go about this? Yes. How can I merge it with someone that pays for it? How can I merge it? You can do like we always did. We just start building systems. I mean, right now, it's a lot easier to get pre-built systems that are cheaper than systems you can build yourself, primarily because when you build your own system, you're going to tend not to want to compromise on quality or quantities, which can often make a home-built system more expensive. But I think you should just go for it. Use older parts. It's not that big of a deal. Eleni, please answer my question. Dave, what did Eleni ask? I don't even see it. Do you think one can go into cybersecurity without having an A+ and Network Plus certification or hands-on experience, but has basic computer knowledge? What if I take a cybersecurity course directly? Well, Eleni, can somebody become a brain surgeon without any schooling? Yes, you can. You don't need anything. As you guys know, a company bought me out called National Cyber Group, and I'm now a partner company with a company called CyberNow Labs. CyberNow Labs, they have a rule that says, they don't have a rule, they have a motto. It says, give us 6 months and we'll give you a 6-figure income. And they're doing it. But Eleni, the amount of work that they do, and you have to pay money, it's like $6,800. But they will, if you're good, they don't even take everybody. You got to be really good. But they can get people without any experience placed, without any certification. You'll have to get a Security Plus, but that's part of their program. But can you do it? Sure. What if I take a cybersecurity course directly? Eleni, what cybersecurity course? There are rip-off courses out there. There's garbage out there. You just say, what if I take a course? If you take a CyberNow Labs course, you'll have a damn 6-figure income if you can get through it. So don't tell me, don't break it up like that. That's not fair to me. Exactly what course are you thinking about? And then we can talk about it. Chill out, Veruca. What? Okay, all right. Yeah, guys, and you know you got to keep asking a question. I don't know how I missed you 3 times. Really sorry about that. I'm always glad to answer questions. You guys are just being silly. All right, it's 2:45. Anybody want to have a competition? Does anybody want to compete? Let us have a. We're going to do a quick competition. All right, guys. Somebody type yes if you want to have a competition, man. Really? All right. JN Mesa. In fact, JN Mesa, you automatically win. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right. Let's do a competition. We'll wrap it up. All right. Here we go. What are we going to have a competition of? Give me just a second, guys. I want to do a... So, that PowerCert animated videos has an error. I ain't saying nothing. I got lots of errors on mine. Okay, you guys ready? This is a real easy one. You're going to have to type a number in, and you only get to type one number. All right? You guys ready? This one's going to be quick. 1995 Texas Aggie. Hey! All right, here we go. Type in. Okay, you're going to have to type two numbers. Number one, type in an example of a well-known port number, and then secondarily, type in a ephemeral port number, at least for Microsoft Windows. I need you to type two numbers in. Number one, type one well-known port number, and then number two, type in an ephemeral port number used by Windows. Nobody has the right answer yet. You're going to type two numbers, folks. Still nobody. Here, get on Google, type in ephemeral port. E-P-H-E-M-E-R-A-L. Ephemeral ports. Wow. Nobody got this yet. 3389 is neither a well-known port number nor is it ephemeral. What is with you guys in 3389? Here, I'll give a clue. Oh, wait a minute. Mohammed, I need two numbers. There, I think that's how you spell ephemeral. No, I saw yours, Tolowit. Yours was wrong. All right, we're getting some good answers in here. My problem is I don't remember what's the ephemeral ports for Windows. Ooh, the default dynamic port range for TCP. Oh, that's for 2008. Never mind. Okay, so in Windows it starts at 49,000. I can't believe I got you guys on that. I thought this was going to be a slam dunk. Let's make sure we know what we're talking about here, all right? When you look at a IP packet, it has an IP address to and an IP address from, correct? Why does it have two IP addresses? Well, one gets it to whatever machine has that IP address, but the other address, which is your source IP address, allows it to spin it around and get it back to the right computer that it's talking to. The same thing happens with ports. When you're sending out a IP packet, it has the IP address to, the IP address from, then it has the port number to. So if it's port 80, it's going to be going to a web server, but then it's going to have another port number. This port number starts at around 49,152 for Windows, and it goes up to the very top, which is 65,536. And so that secondary port number is a number that your computer just slaps in there. So when you send out a packet to a web server on port 80, it's going to see that ephemeral port number. It's a 5-digit number. And that's how it knows to get it back to your browser. Have you guys ever noticed? We always talk how web servers have port 80, but nobody ever talks about what the port number is for a browser. It's because every browser, every tab gets its own ephemeral port number. That's it. You can call them dynamic. SSH, no, BD Vasquez. SSH is a well-known port number? No. SSH is a communications terminal protocol, but it uses port 22. So if you have an SSH server, it has to be listening on port 22. Whoever's talking to it, if I'm using whatever tool I'm using to talk to that SSH server, it's going to have a port number that's 22 heading out, but then on that same packet, there's going to be another port number that's going to be ephemeral, and that's how SSH knows to talk to which terminal program that's out there. Comprendo? All right. Anyway, so now I need a winner. All right, Dave Rush says BD Vasquez, and given the time, I'm just going to give it to you. BD Vasquez, congratulations to you. You have won 90-day access to the practice questions of your choice, courtesy of Total Seminars. Now, BD Vasquez, in order to get that prize, you've got to jump through some hoops. Number one, you've got to send an email to my good buddy Dave Rush. That's Dave R. at TotalSem.com. Secondly, in that email, make sure to put your YouTube name, which is BD Vasquez. I can help you there. In that email, put your email address. Yeah, I know it's an email. Don't send it to just send it to the return address. We can't do that. We've tried that, and then people screw it up. So put the email address in there, because that's going to be your username. And then tell us which exam you want. A+, Net+, Security+. We got plenty more than that. Just let us know in the email, and then my buddy Dave Rush is going to get you all taken care of. So congratulations to you, BD Vasquez. Okay, one other thing. Yeah, BD Vasquez, I don't think we're going to be selling we're not going to be giving away vouchers anymore. I'm sorry. It's CompTIA has just chosen not to let us have that. So we'll be looking to do other more fun types things. However, do keep in mind that this Friday is Dave Rush's drama. It's his 2-year anniversary. Congratulations to you, Dave Rush. And Dave's Rest told me he's going to be giving away lots of stuff. So I don't know what that means, but he's giving it away. So, Dave, congratulations to you on making it 2 years. Guys, do show up on Friday. It's right here on the Total Seminars channel, 2 o'clock. It's just Friday instead of Monday or Wednesdays. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to see what he's going to be giving away. Matus Riska, what was the original question? Give me an example of a well-known port and an example of a ephemeral port. All right, guys, I am out the door here. It's been a good course. Do show up on Discord, say hello. Lots of the folks that you see here are also going to be on Discord. Got some great texts on here. Always glad to help you out. I am out here. I will see you guys on Wednesday. Until then, this is your Uncle Mikey saying good night. Good night. And we're off.